Hi, I'm Mark Schnape, and this is Ron Golden, and we are currently at the 2012 Ventura County Real Estate and Economic Outlet Conference in Westlake Village. And in today's presentation, we have a commercial panel, a residential real estate expert, and I'm going to be giving the forecast for Ventura County. Ron?
We have a real estate panel this morning made up of 4 real estate professionals and a real estate lender looking at 3 different segments of the market. We've got the industrial market, the office market, and the retail market, and we're expecting some great information from this gentleman.
The office market. There's been a lot of activity in the leasing sector in the office market over the last few years. We've seen lease rates decline, and particularly aggressive deals as landlords compete to renew existing tenants. Vacancy rates are extraordinarily high. I think as a comparison to the industrial markets, we see maybe a little different scenario there. Question number 1, what are the typical leasing concessions that landlords are needing to give in order to get deals done today? Second part of that question, how does that compare to where they were exceeding, say, 2 years ago? Bill Kiefer, what is your insight to that?
Thank you, Ron. Let's start with kind of our arena of Ventura County. And basically what's going on here, we've got an unemployment rate that's documented at somewhere between 9 and 10%. The additional unemployment rate or underemployment rates probably adds a couple points to that. So when we go around different offices, you see every 8 or 10 desk empty, and that's a result of our employment. So you've got a lot of firms that are still riding around the bottom. I think the bottom is here or already behind us. But you've got landlords who are trying to maintain their occupancy, assuming their lenders are cooperating with them. The lenders aren't anxious to take properties back, nor are the regulators pushing that envelope for the lenders to take properties back. So let's just get down to where the economics are. You know, we're probably still at least 10, maybe 12, 15% lower lease rents now than they were at the peak of 2005, 6, or 7. That all translates to property value and the amount of debt on the property. When you talk about concessions, essentially you got coupon rates a little bit lower. You're still seeing the free rent world out there, anywhere from 1/2 to 1 full month of free rent per lease year. All this is, by the way, bundled together with the improvement costs that the landlord typically throws in to remodel the suite, and this secret thing everybody forgets to talk about: does the tenant have credit? Most businesses, you think they do. Most businesses aren't worth as much today as they were 3, 4, 5 years ago. So you got to watch that carefully, especially if a landlord's dumping a lot of incentives in front of the tenant. They got to make sure the tenant's there to pay that rent. So how's that?
Good. Mike, take your shoes in my office. Any oversights on leases? What kind of deals are being structured today? What do landlords have to do to keep tenants happy?
I don't do a lot of office, but I see a lot of office deals from brokers in my office. And I mean, there's, in Woodland Hills right now, which is the West Valley, that obviously feeds the Conejo Valley, feeds Ventura County. There's 25% vacancies in Warner Center, so you can pretty much write your own deal there. It's 10-year lease, you can get 14 months of free rent, $50 in tenant improvements, giving away free parking. Again, when you get up through the Conejo Valley, there's some fantastic buildings that are out there that, a lot of the property owners that have the pockets are still holding out, for the right deal. If you look at Park Place next door here, I mean, they've done a phenomenal job of leasing that up, keeping very high rents. They're giving away a lot of free rent on those deals, a lot of TIs. But for the most part, I mean, again, most of our buildings are not necessarily institutionally owned. And so for a landlord to go and make a financial commitment of $30, $40 a foot tenant improvements, and then free rent, and then commissions, it's tough. They have to make sure that tenant has got the financial, capability to honor that lease. But I think right now, I mean, if you're in any office space, I would tell you right now is definitely the time to find new space or to renegotiate your lease, because things are going to change. I mean, they always do. I mean, we'll soon forget 2007 through 2011. For the most part, I think for 2011 was kind of a normal year. 2012 been a very good year in our industry, and I think it'll continue in 13 and on. So anyway.
What is the vacancy rate currently in the office markets? Does it vary within the various submarkets? Do you see those vacancies? How long do you think it's going to take before we may get back to sustainable rents?
Well, in general, you're looking at vacancy rates countywide at a 20 to 23% range. Some of the more active, busy submarkets, certainly a mile and a half from this hotel, Westlake Village is far busier than, let's say, Thousand Oaks, or for that matter, Agora Hills. Likewise, in the West County, Oxnard is busier, but you're still looking at vacancy rates that will hover in a 20 to 23, maybe 25% range. Some submarkets are pushing 30% or more, Agora Hills being one of them, Camarillo. Keep in mind, if you're out there, let's say you're out there shopping in the produce aisle of the market and you see all these aisles full of stuff. Well, if 10 or 15% of that produce is junk or rotten or old or tired or non-deliverable, you're not going to buy it. So when we talk about all these vacancies, those are gross vacancy rates. And to some extent, maybe there's a sustained vacancy. 10% of that might never, ever get leased. And it's old or tired buildings, or it just needs a new owner to come along at some point in the future.
Bill, what do you think about the office market from a lender's perspective, Ventura County?
Can I take a pass? No, honestly, there are two things that wake me up at night. One is office and two is land. I wish I could be more optimistic on office. When we take a look at an office deal, we're hoping it's owner-occupied. We can throw it over to SBA, and we'll do an SBA deal. If we get involved in an office deal, it better have some pretty strong tenants, strong sponsors, and again, strong cash flow. But I'm up in Santa Clarita, and we just had an office building right next to me, 50,000 square feet, was vacated by Princess Cruises. And I don't know who's going to take it. I really don't. Up in Santa Clarita, it's about 25% vacancy. So I'm really hoping that after the election starting next year, things start to really pick up and office starts clicking along. But office is going to be the last sector that's really going to pick up when we're seeing that.
Just on that note, just keep an eye on the unemployment rate. As soon as those numbers start coming down, those people will start filling up desks again.
We've seen trends that offices or companies are now using virtual office or maybe work from home type of situations, minimizing the need for office. Do you see those trends continuing? Do you see the office market in the future requiring less space from a company than they maybe previously did? Anyone on the panel, Bill or
That's I brought up Princess Cruises, and that's exactly what they did. Work from home, shared desks, so they could go ahead and relocate over to the Valencia Mall where they have space, and that's how they could vacate 50,000 square feet. And I don't think that they're the only company out there that's doing the exact same thing. As technology improves, we can all see that you can work from your house, and really it's really no different than working from your office. So that's my perspective.
Don't text and drive.
Ron, one of my partners just finished this deal in Woodland Hills in the Warner Center. And it was really interesting because we were looking at what the densities were per 1,000 square feet. And we used to see, 8 by 8, maybe 8 by 10 cubes. Now those have shrunk down to 5 by 6. And you're just cramming a lot more people. This particular one deal was done 40,000 square feet down in Woodland Hills. They put 7.9 people per 1,000 square feet, and that's basically a 5 by 6 cube. So one of the difficulties that we're going to have in absorbing the amount of office spaces that we have is that people are going to try to do a lot more with a lot less. Because obviously going in, whether it was a .com when everybody was building big lavish offices, or when we had this last run-up where people were just living a little fatter, it's going to be very lean. So even if the unemployment rates, do come down and there are more people occupying space, they're not going to occupy as much space.
Michael Schiff, you have any comments on it?
On the office market?
Yes.
Not on the office market.
Yeah, I think the office market, it sounds not like a great, what do you think, 5 years? We'll be back, we've been looking at the farmers building in City Valley being vacated. We see State Farm and Oxnard losing 90 to 100,000 square feet of moving. What are we going to do with those spaces? Are we going to be able to absorb those for the next few years?
It's just going big game hunting, and it's hard to predict that stuff.
Do you see any large office users coming to the county anytime soon?
I'm not aware of any employers with 500 people or more living around, or for that matter, 250 people.
So how many categories of office markets? Give it a grade.
How many what?
Give it a grade. Office market.
Oh, it's a B- and C+ at best.
Boy, that's
But you have to look though. There have been some bright spots. I mean, PennyMac left Calabasas at 30,000 square feet and took down 145,000 feet more park. Their space is backfilled by a new company, which is one of Bill Dallas's companies, Skyline Financial. So as the market continues to grow, at least on the industrial side, obviously you're going to hear a little bit about the residential. The residential is heated up. The residential drives the financial services, which will drive people like PennyMac to expand. And so that's really what it's going to take. We're going to need to see the expansion in the services sector, which will probably be driven by the financial, sector, to potentially be able to, account for some of that vacant space. But there is a lot of space, big space in Ventura County that is going to take many, many years to absorb. I would say we have probably a good 7 years supply today.
Thank you, gentlemen. Wish we had better news than that, but I guess that's we're here because Jamie Irwin said to deal with some reality this morning, so that's what it is. I want to thank the panel for your brilliance this morning, your comments, and although we have some challenges, it looks like there's some optimistic views moving forward in the commercial market. So let's give a round of applause.